Wagwan everybody. I bet that when you first seen the Green Seba mission where it turned out that Ryder betrayed you, your jaw dropped. I think that all of us just simply love this character, his charisma and a lot of funny situations that he produces with his way of being, or that are a result of his liquid smoking habit, make this character really likable, despite the fact that he's often not very nice to our protagonist, so CJ.
I'm down. Let's roll.
Jill, you always down, homie. Apart from when you ain't around here. Why the nigga?
And then many players noticed a significant difference between Smoke's betrayal and Ryder's betrayal. It turned out that Smoke actually gave himself away early and at times was acting very suspiciously. Meanwhile, Ryder seemed to behave completely normally throughout the Los Santos section. Additionally, in many situations, certain characters ignore Ryder's existence. I think the best way to portray this is if I tell you that Sweet, at the end of the game, has no idea that Ryder betrayed him or doesn't even know what's going on with him. And all these oddities made a lot of players believe that Ryder's role in the story must have been changed during the development of the game, and hence all these inconsistencies. And the fact that after the mission Reuniting the Families, all of Ryder's lines seem to be reused from the previous missions, the players made up a theory that apparently Ryder's voice actor, MC8, at some point fell out with Rockstar and refused to record the rest of the lines for Ryder's character, which forced Rockstar to end his role in the story earlier. This theory has been debunked by MC8 himself in one of his statements, but that didn't stop the players from still believing that Ryder weren't initially meant to betray us. In today's video, I'll try to show you why in my opinion, Ryder was definitely a traitor all along, and that his betrayal makes perfect sense. So I'll answer the questions like, why did he betray Grove Street families? Why some characters seem to ignore him? Or why Ryder mocked CJ throughout the Los Santos section? And why it wasn't just for fun? And also I'm going to show you moments in the game itself to support my argument. Let's kick off with one of the scenes from the introduction movie, which shows us the background of the GTA San Andreas story.
You don't want a bullet in the brain, but if you can make it work and make some Benjamins while you at it, then that's cool.
It's gonna take more than a bullet in the head to stop me.
I don't doubt that, homie.
The scene you've just seen portrays Smoke introducing Ryder to his plan to take over the Grove Street families by betraying the leader, Sweet, in which Ryder agrees to participate without any hesitation. It's a bit weird. I mean, at first glance, it seems like an extremely difficult decision, whether to betray someone you knew and you worked with since you were kids. But here, Ryder just agrees to it as if he's been planning something like that himself already. See, I would say he has been, and the reason for which Ryder completely lost loyalty for his gang was Sweet. Sweet, who brought his gang to the very bottom because he was a hypocrite and didn't want to take up dealing crack. Ryder was irritated by the fact that because of his leader's blind conservatism, he was stuck in his life. He wanted to move forward, make more money so he can at some point happily retire and live without any worries. But he was in an organization that was only going to go backwards because of how it was run. Ryder knew that for the Grove Street families to get back on track and start competing with rival gangs, Sweet would have to go. So when he heard that Smoke had a plan to take Sweet out of the picture so he can take the throne, get into the crack business, and additionally to make peace with the Ballers with whom they were beefing for many years, which resulted in many of their friends' deaths, he couldn't say no. Or could he? Was the bad leadership of his very good friend enough to so easily agree to stab him in the back? Well, it turns out he had more reasons to turn his back on Sweet. In 1992, Sweet's brother, Carl, returned to the city. Carl, who abandoned his friends and family 5 years ago by leaving the state for Liberty City, after he caused the death of his little brother, Brian. Some of his old friends and members of his family welcomed him well, but some haven't. One of them was Ryder, who never missed an opportunity to remind CJ of what he'd done 5 years ago. However, it was not CJ who Ryder was frustrated with really, but again, Sweet. I know, this doesn't seem very obvious, so let me explain how I see it. Let's have a look at the last cutscene of the first mission, After the crew escapes the ballers and arrives at Grove Street, they have a short chat.
So when you leaving, Carl?
I ain't sure. Thought I might stay. Things is fucked up.
Well, the last thing we need is your help.
Ah, man, I won't let you down. I swear.
Hey, we gonna call some hood rats and chill the hell out. You want some?
I got a whole lot going on. I'm tired. I'll catch y'all later.
Hey, yo, just drop in. We all hanging out.
Gia, and get yourself some colors, fool. And a haircut. It's embarrassing to be seen with you.
First, CJ says that he's going to stay in the city and help the gang get back on his feet. Then, Sweet and Smoke invite him to chill out with them. Quite friendly of them, don't you think? This irritated Ryder though, who thought that CJ should work for respect from scratch and didn't deserve such privileges as spending a night with the OGs after 5 years of absence. So he lets CJ know by telling him that he looks like ish and that it's an embarrassment to be hanging out with him. Ryder simply found it unfair if CJ was suddenly to gain the respect back just because he's the leader's brother. But why Ryder so badly didn't want CJ to gain the respect back? Did he dislike him so much? The reasons for it will become clear later in the video. As the story progressed, Carl was beginning to be a very influential figure within the Grove Street families. He put in enormous amounts of work for the hood and the set was getting back on his feet because of him. This resulted in him regaining Sweet's respect in no time and in the growing frustration of Ryder, whose position in the gang was unchanged. Despite him managing to improve the gang's arsenal, he presumably didn't hear a single word of praise about it from Sweet. Ryder, day by day, was noticing that Sweet was favoring CJ over him just because he was his brother, and Ryder obviously was not. Let me show you a few examples from the game itself that prove this.
I could drive as well as CJ, man, I'm telling you. Yeah. Hey, homie, what's up?
Hey, what you saying about me, fool?
What's up, man? I'm saying that the East Coast made you drive like an idiot, fool. Man, you always crashing cars and shit. And for some reason now you back. All it is CJ drive here, CJ drive there. Bull. Why don't you just take it easy? No disrespect, man, but you can't drive for shit.
Thanks, man. Nah. Say what you really mean.
You such a good gunman, homie. You gotta ride shotgun. Show CJ what's cracking.
In this cutscene, in reality, Ryder isn't angry with CJ's driving skills. He just simply expresses his frustration that CJ is being assigned a driver job on some serious missions despite him being gone for 5 years. Ryder was wondering in his head, what is it that CJ does better than him that makes him gain the respect back so quickly, while his position remains unchanged, despite the fact that while CJ was away, he was still here witnessing how the gang's power declines. Notice also how Sweet is standing in defense of Carl, again showing the fact that he favored Carl.
Man, I'm shocked you ain't get us killed, CJ. Let me check myself. Am I dead? Hey, Carl, ignore that mother. You did good today.
Here again, we got Ryder having a laugh at CJ, and immediately Sweet coming to defend him, and even calling Ryder a motherfucker.
What's up with you, baby?
So you back on the block, huh?
Hell yeah.
You a real killer, huh? What he done that I ain't, huh? Let's stall him out,
Hey,
nigga.
relax, man.
Again, the same thing. We see how Ryder is trying to show Sweet that CJ's achievements are in no way better than his achievements, but Sweet doesn't even take him seriously. He's taking this outburst probably just as a result of Ryder being high on his wet sticks. And lastly, I'll show you the dialogue from the mission Reuniting the Families. And I'm gonna throw in a few unused lines from the beta version of the game.
Say, CJ, you gonna crash the car again?
Ryder?
Ryder, give CJ a break, man. He's practically turned the Grove around by himself. And I was just telling a joke on you, little nigga.
Everything you do is a joke, Ryder.
That's right, that's my brother. That ain't true. Tell him Smoke back me up, man. It ain't true.
Ryder, just chill the f*** out, man.
Remember, we're reuniting the family, so no bull. Stay cool. You know me, Sweet. Cool as a Shaolin monk. Especially you, Ryder. What you mean? I resent your implication and
Sweet's just saying you're a natural killer, baby. You gotta check yourself and stay cool.
Jill, we'll put it like this. I understand what he's trying to say, but I'm always cool, fool.
Hey, we all down with that, baby.
As you could hear, the GSF OGs kind of split into two groups, Sweet and CJ and Smoke and Ryder. Here, especially by hearing the unused lines, it is blatantly shown to us how Sweet favors his brother over Ryder, and Ryder is seeking an ally in Smoke. That's because he knew Smoke was the only one to value him and treat him seriously. He showed this by involving Ryder in Tenpenny's crack operation, despite Crash never actually asking him to do it. I say that because of how Tenpenny treats Ryder throughout the story. Look how he's treated in the Catalyst mission by Tenpenny. Not only Tenpenny showed up when CJ was around, as opposed to when they were visiting Smoke, but also was very rude towards Ryder. In the Green Saber mission, he completely ignores him as well, talking only to Smoke. This all shows that Ryder was actually squeezed into this operation by Smoke, while Tenpenny didn't initially plan to involve him. That partially explains why Tenpenny and other characters did not mention Ryder in situations where you would expect them to. Firstly, he was not the main face of the operation. He was always in Smoke's shadow, and considering the volume of Smoke's body, no wonder no character could notice him. The second thing is that, like shown in previous examples, nobody treated Ryder seriously apart from Big Smoke. That's also why Sweet never even asked CJ about Ryder after his betrayal. Sweet never cared about Ryder or Smoke. He only cared about his brother, about his family. To prove this, listen to Sweet's reaction to CJ telling him that Smoke and Ryder abandoned them in the Reuniting the Families mission.
What took you? Where's Smoke and Ryder?
They shook on us.
Let's get out of here.
Sweet just didn't care. He only cared about CJ. Second proof is Sweet's reaction to Carl telling him about Smoke's betrayal.
CJ, where you been?
Caesar called and showed me some. It's Smoke, and he in deep with Tenpenny and some ballers. He sold us out.
It doesn't matter, man. You gotta get out of here. The cops gonna arrive any second.
Again, he didn't seem bothered by this at all, as long as CJ is still by his side. So now, to summarize, let me directly answer the questions I said I would answer in the introduction. So firstly, why Ryder's betrayal makes sense. So what were his reasons for stabbing Sweet in the back? Ryder was simply fed up with Sweet's conservatism towards crack, which resulted in their rivals getting way ahead of him, and Sweet not doing anything about it. Moreover, Sweet seemed to patronize Ryder and he hardly ever took him seriously, which obviously must have been very demotivating for Ryder. And lastly, Sweet was very nepotistic and was favoring his brother over Ryder, as it was shown in the examples given earlier in the video. This was very frustrating for him, and therefore he released his frustration by mocking CJ, his sort of a rival in battle for Sweet's respect, in which CJ had the unfair advantage. And then the characters ignore Ryder because for some reason, probably due to his drug addiction, barely anyone took Ryder seriously. Tenpenny, CJ, Sweet, they all took Ryder as some sort of a joker. Only Smoke seemed to break this tendency, which he showed by introducing him to the crack operation, even though Crash didn't ask for Ryder to be involved. So if no one took Ryder seriously, why would anyone take his betrayal seriously? Although I can't help but admit that it's still pretty strange that Ryder's only barely mentioned. However, all the other evidence leaves me with no doubt towards my opinion that Ryder was always meant to be an antagonist. Thank you for watching to the end. I'm very curious about your opinions on this one, so let me know if I changed your mind about Ryder, or maybe I affirmed you in what you already thought. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel for more videos about the GTA series. Again, thank you for watching. Respect.